This is Dragon Ball MVPs, the series where I pick the most valuable player in each Dragon Ball saga and tell you why. This honor doesn't just go to whoever defeated the big bad or farmed the hardest. It's reserved for the one who really put the Dragon Team on their back. First up is Krillin, the Saiyan Saga MVP. The Saiyan Saga doesn't start so great for Krillin. He does finally reunite with Goku after 5 years and suffers a minor heart attack when he realizes that yes, Goku fucks, but then he finds out that his bestie, whom they'd all suspected wasn't normal to begin with, is actually an alien who was sent to depopulate and take over the Earth. All of this information comes courtesy of Goku's brother, Raditz, who with just his tail displays his power by flicking Krillin through Master Roshi's house as if he's nothing, which is a huge step up from the last big bad Piccolo, whom Krillin could at least land a hit on in a fight. Total chaos ensues when Raditz also one-shots Goku, kidnaps Gohan, and then falls in battle when Piccolo macankasapos him and Goku to death. Until Goku's last breath, Krillin remains by his best friend's side, and he's once again powerless as Gohan is kidnapped a second time by Piccolo, who plans to train the boy in preparation for the other Saiyans, who will be arriving in a year to finish what Raditz started. This was all supposed to be a happy little kickback for the Dragon Team, but all hell breaks loose, launching a cycle of high-stakes death battles that lasts until our heroes get a 7-year break when Gohan defeats Cell. But that's a saga for another day. After Raditz bites it, Krillin undergoes some Saiyan preparation training of his own under Mr. Popo and Kami, and when Nappa and Vegeta arrive, there is an astronomical difference in all of the fighters. But it is Krillin who displays the most effectiveness, genius, and heart throughout the struggle against the Saiyans. So, let's get into it. 1 year has passed since Raditz showed up, and the Dragon Team gathers to fight the new Saiyans. On deck we have Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo, as well as Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu, who also trained under Kami and Popo. Goku is MIA because duh, he has to give the other characters a chance to shine and or die before he arrives. Goku's blundered return to Earth also subverts the idea of an almighty, all-knowing god because like Kami, King Kai is far from both. Instead of stumbling through a game of wait until Goku shows up, this conflict with the Saiyans is particularly special because it is the last time we see such coordinated combat effectiveness from the entire Dragon Team. And this is in no small part because almost all of them die, one after another, driving home the fact that there can be no doubt that we're in new territory now. The narrative has shifted, skyrocketed into a larger-than-life landscape that just keeps getting bigger, and at the heart of it, Krillin remains, the last human standing among aliens and a hybrid. From the jump, Krillin keeps a cool head in order to leverage Goku, their ace in the hole. When Vegeta suggests pitting his 6 Cybermen against the 6 Dragon Team members, Piccolo just wants to get on with it, but Krillin opts to go with Vegeta's plan in order to buy precious time for Goku to arrive. Buying time doesn't stop the bodies from dropping though. After Yamcha is obliterated, Vegeta throws salt in the wound and incurs Krillin's wrath. Krillin puts his training to work and unleashes an attack that everyone underestimates until he takes out 3 of the remaining 4 Cybermen and goes straight for Nappa and Vegeta while he's at it. Unfortunately, Nappa and Vegeta emerge unscathed after taking the attack head on. Like I said, we're in different territory now. With all of the Cybermen dead, once Piccolo dispatches the last one, Vegeta sicks Nappa on our heroes, and he quickly relieves Tien of his arm. When Nappa tries to go in for the kill, Krillin attempts to save Tien, but the effort is futile. With a sweep of his hand, Nappa stops him by putting between them a crater so deep it appears bottomless. But in the midst of this frenzy, Chaozu takes Nappa by surprise, similarly to the Cybermen that killed Yamcha. But Chaozu's suicide attack fails to take Nappa with him, and he is the next to fall. Before Nappa can get back to Tien, Krillin and Piccolo hit him with another surprise attack that also fails, this time because Gohan is too afraid to act. Krillin accepts that Gohan isn't going to come through in time, so he takes the lead and fires a blast along with Piccolo that Nappa unfortunately dodges, and then Tien dies, hitting Nappa with one last Kikoho, but it, like everything else, accomplishes nothing. The atmosphere is fraught. Goku is nowhere to be found. We're down from 6 fighters to 3, and one of the 3 is 5 years old and terrified. Piccolo gives Gohan a hard time, but Krillin reminds reminds him that it is Gohan's first real fight. Despite the high stakes, Krillin's encouragement is the foundation of the bond that he and Gohan will eventually form. Surprisingly, they're granted a reprieve when Vegeta orders Nappa to stand down so they can wait for Goku. But after 3 hours, Goku still doesn't show. There are several references to Krillin also being very afraid throughout all of this. He doesn't have Yamcha's bravado, Tien's quiet confidence, or even Piccolo's reserved pessimism. He also doesn't have Gohan's unpredictable rage boosts, but he continues to act anyway. And ironically, along with Gohan, he outlives them all. With Nappa seemingly unbeatable, Piccolo devises another strategy and suggests going for his tail. Krillin jumps into his role as the distraction, confusing Nappa with a feint, which gives Piccolo the chance to successfully grab Nappa's tail. But before Gohan can complete the strategy, Nappa deals Piccolo a terrible blow to the head, and Vegeta reveals that they've already overcome their tail's weakness. Nothing our heroes have done has worked. All they've managed to do is take out 4 Cybermen. Again, 3 courtesy of Krillin, but aside from sneak attacks, the little green men weren't challenges to begin with. With Piccolo momentarily down, Nappa resumes his assault and goes after Gohan next. Having watched all he can stand, Krillin steps in, lands 2 blows on Nappa, and shows off some fancy moves that even impress Vegeta. And we see that though Nappa is strong, his method of brutishly plowing his way through a fight can easily be taken advantage of, especially by a seasoned martial artist like Krillin, who debuts one of my favorite attacks in the series, the Kienzan. Stupidly, Nappa tries to take the Kienzan head on, and were it not for Vegeta warning him to dodge, Krillin would have killed him. Let that sink in for a moment. Krillin almost killed Nappa. In the words of Brandy, almost doesn't count, but in this case, I can't do anything but tip my hat. So far, Tien failed to kill the Cyberman he fought, lost his arm, and finally his life by using all his energy in one attack. Similar to Tien, Yamcha neglected to finish his Cyberman off, and his cockiness was his undoing. And Chaozu impressively managed to sneak up on Nappa and leverage his size, but his attack also lacked the power to finish the job. But Krillin launches the most effective attack against the Cyberman, and now Nappa, which only fails because Vegeta recognizes what it is. Krillin's Kienzan does give Piccolo the chance to hit Nappa with a blast, after which he warns Nappa not to underestimate the Earth, which is fitting because it is the Earthling Krillin's Kienzan that turns the tide of the battle. Though he is grievously injured by Nappa's counterattack after said Kienzan, Krillin is able to shine a light on the fact that these Saiyans are not invincible. Vegeta laughs at Nappa struggling against the Dragon Team, but as we'll see, he won't be laughing soon, for the presence of Goku's ki is on the wind. Vegeta reads Goku's ki at 5,000 on his scouter, and taking that number seriously, he orders Nappa to kill Piccolo and Gohan so they won't join Goku and gang up on them. The original plan was to keep Piccolo alive so they could learn about the Dragon Balls, but Vegeta theorizes that there may be other Dragon Balls on Piccolo's home world, Namek. Krillin is still on the ground, unable to move, but he of course hears Vegeta's theory, and his retention of this knowledge is what kicks off the next saga. Nappa makes a move on Gohan next, who successfully defends himself, which enrages Nappa and causes him to fire a blast at him. But Piccolo steps in and gives his life, confirming what Goku once told Gohan. He isn't so bad after all. Gohan tries to avenge Piccolo, but it isn't meant to be. He's almost the next to die, but just in the nick of time to at least save his son. Goku shows up, flexes on Nappa, and gives Krillin and Gohan their half of the last senzu bean. Krillin is back up, but carrying an awful amount of guilt over all of their friends who died, and he's more than ready to work with Goku to avenge them, a critical detail that is important later. But Goku tells him and Gohan that he'll fight Nappa and Vegeta alone. Krillin and Gohan comply and keep their distance so they don't get hurt, and Goku reveals the fruits of his training and renders Nappa so helpless that Vegeta no longer has use for him. Instead of our heroes having to take him down, Vegeta kills Nappa himself and confirms that Goku just might eat his words about fighting him on his own. The fight with Goku and Vegeta kicks off, and after Vegeta realizes that a ×4 Kaioken Goku has exceeded his power in his base form, he transforms into the Great Ape, which forces Goku to unveil his trump card, the Genkidama, but Vegeta hits him with a blast before he can fire it. Enter Krillin and Gohan, who return to the battlefield after Gohan gets the feeling that Goku needs their help. Let's hear it for intuition, because Goku is knocking on death's door twice in the same saga. Gohan gets Vegeta's attention, enabling Krillin to launch another Kienzan to cut off Vegeta's tail, but he dodges it. Fortunately, Yajirobe, who's been lurking and popping out here and there, finally gets over himself and uses his sword to cut Vegeta's tail off. Vegeta reverts to his usual self, but despite all the damage he's taken and energy he's expended, he's still too powerful. With Goku down for the count for the rest of the battle, Vegeta turns his attention on Krillin and Gohan and wastes no time putting both of them down too. But Goku senses that Gohan still has more power than he thinks he does, and he's right. When Vegeta turns his brutality back on Goku, it reawakens the rage that Gohan previously unleashed on Nappa and Raditz at the beginning of the saga. As Gohan and Vegeta fight, Goku entrusts the remaining energy of the Genki-Dama to Krillin, who handles the divine technique like an expert on his first try. Krillin successfully shapes the energy into a ball and fires it at Vegeta, who evades, but Gohan volleys it back at him and it connects. Still, it isn't enough. Vegeta gets back on his feet, but this time he lacks the energy to finish Krillin, Goku, and Gohan off. Yajirobe seizes the moment again and comes out of hiding and slashes Vegeta across the back, which injures him further, but per the theme of this battle, it isn't enough to kill him. Given how stressful this all is, Gohan's tail grows back and the false moon that Vegeta created to facilitate his own Uzaro transformation backfires on him. It's Gohan's turn to ape out now, and though it doesn't last long, Gohan is still able to hurt Vegeta before Vegeta cuts his tail off with a technique surprisingly similar to the Kienzan. As Gohan changes back, he lands right on top of Vegeta, crushing him in the process. And finally, Vegeta is neutralized. Not dead, but helpless. He calls his space pod to their location so that he can escape, but before he can leave, Krillin recovers some strength of his own. With Yajirobe's sword, Krillin finally has the chance to exact his revenge on Vegeta for all of their friends who fell in battle. The fandom usually tries to absolve Vegeta of Yamcha, Chaozu, Tien, and Piccolo's deaths in the Saiyan Saga by placing all the blame on Nappa and the Cybermen, but I think that's rather silly and disingenuous. Vegeta was in command of Nappa. He told Nappa to bring out the Cybermen. He gave the Cybermen their orders, even killing one of them when it disobeyed him. And after they all died, he sicked Nappa on the Dragon Team. And when he changed his mind and decided to wait for Goku, he ordered Nappa to stand down. Finally, he killed Nappa when he was no longer of use to him. Nappa and the Cybermen were nothing more than bullets in Vegeta's gun. Bearing all this in mind, Krillin does hold Vegeta accountable, and he's so close to obtaining the justice he's wanted since Yamcha offered his life in order to save his. But Goku makes an incredible request. He asks Krillin to spare Vegeta so that he can fight Vegeta again one day and beat him outright. This is a very selfish request that casts aside the lives of their friends, and Goku is aware of the burden he's placed on Krillin's shoulders, and it's an impossible burden. Unlike Goku, Krillin saw everyone die with his own eyes. Also, no one denied Goku his vengeance against Tambourine or King Piccolo for taking Krillin, Master Roshi, and Chaozu's lives, so to expect Krillin to agree to this is unheard of. But Krillin obliges. He lays down the sword, and it's the most power he's displayed throughout the entire battle. The power of restraint. The power of believing in Goku's strength and his pride and passion as a martial artist. After all, fighting and martial arts are the foundation of each of their friendships. And so, with a weary smile, Krillin holds Goku to his word and tells him that the next time he fights Vegeta, his power had better be off the charts. Now it's time to let it all sink in. Krillin almost killed Nappa and Vegeta, coming closer to victory than any other fighter in the saga. Even though Vegeta gets away, our heroes live to fight another day. Krillin ends his legendary run in this saga by telling everyone about Vegeta's theory that other Dragon Balls may exist, needing only to be found. He suggests going to Namek, still intent on making good on his promise to do right by their fallen friends. But unfortunately, it's a promise that he won't see through, as he is the next to die. It's tragic knowing that all of his good intentions result in such a fate, that his iconic attacks, quick thinking, effectiveness, and heart are ultimately not enough. But that's life. Sometimes we win and sometimes we lose. Krillin may not have won the war on Namek, but in the battle against the Saiyans on Earth, there can be no doubt that he is the MVP.